Hi, I'm Ken Blanchard, co-author of The 1 Minute Manager. You know, a major problem in organizations today is that a lot of people have good technical skills, but they don't have real good human skills. And what do you do if you're managing people? How do you overcome that? Well, the 3 secrets of The 1 Minute Manager is perfect for learning how to manage people. If you read that book, it was a story of a young man searching for an effective manager. Well, you're going to meet that young man in this video, but he's all grown up now, and he's a 1 Minute Manager teaching others.
Are you okay, honey?
Yeah, I'm okay.
How come you're so quiet this morning?
Mom, are you okay?
I'm fine, honey.
Mom, do you still love me?
Colby, of course I still love you. What's wrong? I'm sorry I've been so busy lately. I'm having some problems at work right now.
Is everything gonna be okay?
Everything is going to be just fine.
You promise?
I promise.
When are we gonna get a dog?
We'll have to see how things go, okay? You have a good day.
Okay.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye. Let me switch to hands-free. So I worked hard to get through school. I know technology. I got a good job. It's been 5 years, a couple of promotions. Now all of a sudden it seems like a bad dream. But I want to do a good job. It just seems like all of a sudden my career has come to a...
I thought that's what you wanted.
Dan, that's not what I wanted. I needed that report by this morning. Okay, when can you have it to me?
I guess I don't... Okay, I'll try by next Tuesday.
I need it sooner.
Did you get the email proposal I sent you Sunday?
Yeah, I got it. Did you get the content for the PowerPoint? I didn't get the PowerPoint.
Well, I asked Harold to get it, but he said it wasn't his job. He has a real attitude problem. I can hardly talk to him.
I know, I'm sorry. Look, I'll talk to him, okay? Thanks. I just can't seem to get this management people thing together. What am I doing wrong?
You know technology. But Melissa, your people are not doing what they need to do. Your team, they missed their deadline again. This is your responsibility.
I tell them what I want done and they do something else. They're just not excited. I know you're right. I will deal with this.
Melissa, we have discussed how you manage your people in the past. It is just not working. Look, you have a lot to offer. But when jobs don't get done, people have attitudes. Numbers don't get hit. It causes problems. Oh, honestly. Okay, this is the bottom line. You either pick up your management skills or you find another place to work, because I can't afford to wait much longer.
I understand. Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. So now you know, and I'm scared. I've got to find a way to solve this problem. You're my old boss. I like the way you manage. Now I'm a manager too, and I'm in trouble. What do you suggest?
Well, why don't you go see a friend of mine? They call him the 1 Minute Manager. Yeah. You know, he really helped me. And I think he can help you.
Great.
You just call this number. Okay. And see what he can do.
Okay. Great. I will. So it's about you. It is a true story, right?
That book was written some time ago. Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Oh, you too.
Would you like something to drink?
No, thanks. I'm fine. So you're the guy in the book?
Well, please have a seat.
Oh, thanks.
Have you read it?
No.
But
people are different now. Look, with all due respect, I don't want yesterday. I need tomorrow, and I need it today.
obviously you know something I don't. Maybe you should find someone else to help you. I'm not sure that I can help you, and I'm really sorry.
No, no, please. I need to be here. I really need to be here. If you've got some answers, I'd like to give it a try. Okay?
Okay.
I'd like to ask you some questions.
Fire away.
What kind of a manager are you?
Here, let me show you something, please. I'm a one-minute manager.
So what is a one-minute manager?
A one-minute manager accomplishes great results in very little time. Most managers are interested either in results or in people. Managers who are interested in results are often labeled autocratic. Participating managers who are interested in people are labeled democratic.
Okay, so tough, results-oriented, autocratic, nice, people-oriented, democratic.
But being a democratic or an autocratic manager is like being half a manager. One-minute managers are interested in both results and people.
Do you have regular meetings with your people?
Yes, I do.
How often?
Once a week on Mondays between 9 and 11 a.m. That's why I couldn't meet with you then.
What do you talk about?
They tell me what they've accomplished, and then we develop plans and strategies for the next week.
So you believe in participative decision-making?
No, I really don't.
So you don't share your decision-making with your people?
No.
So you tell them exactly what you want done?
I do not participate in my people's decision-making.
What do you mean?
They're responsible for their jobs. I don't make their decisions. They do.
So what do you really do?
Why don't you ask them?
You wouldn't mind?
No, not at all. There are 3 basic secrets to being a one-minute manager. After you learn each one, come back and we'll talk about why they work. Here's a list and a description of my people.
Oh, thank you. Who should I talk to first?
Pick a name. It's your decision.
So anyway, I just met with that guy you call the one-minute manager. He's either a genius or he's nuts. We'll see. Excuse me? Are you Lauren?
Yes, you must be Melissa.
Yes.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
So, I hear you met the big guy. He is quite a character, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to be.
So, did he tell you how to be a one-minute manager?
He did. It's not true though, is it?
Oh, you better believe it. You know, I hardly ever see him.
So he doesn't give you a lot of help?
Very little. He does spend time at the beginning of a task. That's when we do one-minute goal setting.
1-minute goal setting?
Do you know why people don't do what they're supposed to do?
No. Why? Because that's a problem I've been having with my people.
Because they don't really understand what's expected of them.
That's the biggest reason?
Their managers don't have clear goals, so they can't tell their people what's expected. A one-minute manager makes it clear what the employee is being held accountable for. For that, you need goal setting. 1-minute goal setting. I thought my people knew what I expected from them, so I asked them to make a list of what they thought I expected. Then I made a list of what I thought I said to them. Then I compared the lists, and they were very, very different.
So what did you do?
I used the 80-20 goal setting rule.
Wait, what's that?
80% of your people's results will come from just 20% of the activities. So we set 1-minute goals based only on that 20%. And be sure to write them in behavioral terms.
Behavioral terms? What do you mean behavioral terms?
See, goals, they're based on actions or behavior. They're things that can be seen and measured, like the number of calls, the quality of calls, or the number of questions asked.
What else?
Goals and its performance standard, it shouldn't be any more than 250 words. You should be able to read it in about a minute. Then you both keep a copy and you just check the progress.
Okay. Let me see if I can put this all together. 1, agree on the goals. 2, decide what the behavior I want looks like. 3, write the goals in 250 words or less. And 4, later, look at the performance, see how it matches up to the goal, and give feedback. How'd I do?
You're learning.
I think you're learning. Most managers focus on doing things right, and that's good. But they also need to concentrate on doing the right things. And that's what 1-minute goal setting is all about.
Okay. You said you were going to tell me why goal setting works.
Let me give you an analogy. Over the years, I've known a lot of unmotivated people at work. But I've never seen an unmotivated person after work biking, fishing, playing basketball, surfing the net, or even bowling. Why do you think she was so excited?
Because she got a strike? She knocked down all the pins?
Exactly. Why do you think she isn't excited at work?
Because she doesn't know where the pins are.
Exactly. Most managers know what they want their people to do. They just never bother to explain it in ways that are understood, and they assume their people should know. What does bowling look like in most organizations? The bowler can't see the pins, the goal. The feedback is vague. So you ask a manager what they expect from their people, and they can tell you.
But they forget to tell their people what the goal is.
When people can't see the goal, can't see what's expected of them, managers are creating an ineffective form of bowling. It's like playing golf in the dark. You can't see the goal, so you don't play. Or football. How many people would watch football if you didn't have goals or score? 1-minute goal setting is about letting people know exactly what you want them to do.
You're right. That's very valuable information. Okay, 3 secrets. What's next?
I'm not going to tell you.
What?
I want you to talk to some more of my people across town. You still got that list?
Yeah, I've got it. So I learned some things I think are going to help me. This guy calls the first point 1-minute goal setting. It's pretty good stuff. I have 2 more visits to make, so we'll see. And so far I learned how important 1-minute goal setting is.
Right.
But what else is there?
1-minute praises.
Is that the second secret to becoming a 1-minute manager?
Yes. Once your people understand goals, it's important for you to wander around and catch them doing something right and praise them for it. Makes them feel good, makes me feel good.
Yeah, but how important is that?
Very. Most importantly, because it creates good results. Let me ask you, how much do you get done when you feel unappreciated? People who get good results feel good about themselves. Why? Because the #1 motivator in people is feedback. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let me tell you about your last report. I used it in my meeting. It was really well done. And they loved the graph on page 31. You really made us look good, and I appreciate that. Thanks, Brad.
Most managers spend their time catching people doing things wrong. They accent the negative.
Describes me, unfortunately.
But the key to developing people is to catch them doing something right and to accent the positive.
So what do I do? Schedule my praisings?
Yes, that's exactly what you do. Schedule time to tell your people what they are doing right. Okay, 4 things when praising. Be immediate. Don't save it for later. Describe what they did right and why it helps. Share your feelings and encourage them to do more of the same. Tell you what, why don't you give me some examples of praising?
Okay, let's see. #1, be immediate. #2, describe what they did right and why it helps. My boss just gave this back to me. I like it. He likes it. The content is great. Really helps our team to stay on schedule. #3, share your feelings. You're really doing great. I appreciate what you're doing. #4, encourage them to do more of the same. Before you know it, you're going to be doing the monthly analysis. Keep up the good work. Amy, this morning I noticed you completed the guidebook ahead of schedule. It looks good. Very thorough. Feels good to have that finished so we can move ahead with the entire project. Yeah. It's always great to see somebody do such good work and complete it ahead of schedule. Well, thank you. Keep up the good work.
Even voicemail or email is a good way of telling them what they did right.
Hey, I'd like that. I see what you mean.
So letting people know what they are doing right is one of the most important parts of 1-minute management.
Good. This is really good. So, why do these 1-minute praisings work?
Because they encourage people to continue in good performance. If you neglect it, the tendency is for the performance to decline.
Why?
It's human nature. People lose interest in what no one cares about.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does. Praise a person for what they do, and it basically encourages and motivates good future behavior. Remember, when learning something, praise them. If you wait for perfection to praise, you may be waiting forever.
Forever?
Remember, exactly right behavior is made up of approximately right behaviors. We remember that when it comes to animals and kids, but we forget with adults. Ever been to SeaWorld?
How do they do that?
By praising, not by punishment. When needed, they redirect the animals. and catch them doing something right, always praising the progress. Also, the trainer builds a strong relationship between himself and the whale. This builds the behavior.
Praising whales and people are not exactly the same thing.
That's right, but there are lessons to be learned. Praising encourages the desired performance. The problem is most managers only praise when the job is done exactly right, and it's important to praise any progress. When the baby falls down, do the parents say,
No, what?
No, they don't do that. If the baby tries and falls, they praise him for each small step of progress.
For being approximately right.
That's right. It allows the child to feel secure, praising until the baby walks.
Good job.
So praise your people even when they're approximately right. Praising helps people win.
I like that. 1 minute management helps my people win, and it can help me win. I'm beginning to see that now.
One more visit, one more secret.
And the final person I'm going to talk to is Michael Mumford. Yeah, I'm on my way to see him now. 1 minute goal setting is powerful. It's beginning to make sense. And I learned about 1 minute praising, catch people doing something right and tell them about it. I'm curious to see what this last secret is. This last visit should let me know whether this stuff is going to work for me or not. All right, I'll call you later.
Later is not good for reprimands. Immediate feedback is important.
Reprimand, that sounds a little negative, isn't it?
Not really. It's a form of feedback. If you want to get someone to stop doing something, reprimand them. And then just redirect them.
When do you reprimand someone?
You never reprimand learners. If they're learning something, lay off. Now, if a person can't do something or if they make a mistake, you go back to goal setting and training.
But if they won't do something?
Ah, that's an attitude problem. Then you reprimand. A 1 minute reprimand. The third secret. But don't attack the person. Tough on performance, never tough on the person.
Okay. Let me see if I can put this all together.
Okay.
The reprimand, similar to praising. Well, be immediate and specific. Describe the poor performance. Stop. Let them feel how you feel. Encourage them. Let them know you still value them. And well, let them know it's over. How'd I do?
Excellent. Very good. Okay. Now, I've got an idea. Why don't you give me a situation and then just tell me how you deal with it?
Okay. Harold. He's a good employee, but sometimes he gets a little sloppy with his attitude, ends up treating people poorly, and that affects productivity. Harold, I need to talk to you about something else.
Be immediate, specific, and describe the poor performance.
I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with Steve a moment ago. We've talked about this before. Speaking to people in a harsh tone with a negative attitude is unacceptable.
Tell them how you feel, candidly.
Your behavior doesn't help you. It doesn't help this department. It must stop. Are you with me on this?
Encourage them and remind them how much you still value them.
I want you to know, I see what you accomplish around here with your strengths, and it's a lot. No one can use the patch system the way you can. Thanks. Keep that up.
Let them know it's over.
Okay, Harold, this incident is over. It's really over. It's behind us. I won't bring it up again.
Look, I appreciate your honesty. Thanks.
So, can you tell me how the line debt is coming along?
Sure. Yesterday I started...
And it only took you?
About a minute.
Great. Now finally, remember to focus on the behavior, not the person. This is redirecting from poor performance to what you want them to do.
So reprimands aren't a chewing out. But aren't they a little harsh?
Do you care about your people?
Of course.
Well, sometimes you have to care enough to be a little tough, sort of like tough love.
You mean to be open and honest with them?
Yes, but caring. That way they always know where they stand with you. Tough and nice. Tough on behavior, never tough on the person.
Sometimes I just can't say it. I avoid giving negative feedback, then I wait till I'm upset and really give it to them. Not a very good strategy, is it?
That's called gunny sacking. Saving up all the negative and then just dumping your feelings all at once. All you do is you end up yelling at each other. Not a good idea.
And then they're focused on me as an enemy instead of being focused on the problem.
Say it early. Deal with one behavior at a time. It seems more fair that way.
So tell me, why does the 1-minute reprimand work?
When you end a reprimand with a reaffirmation, their okayness is still intact. They learn from it, and it prevents them from diverting the blame to you. So, what do you think about 1-minute management now?
I'm beginning to see that it's what I need. 1-minute goal setting, praising, reprimanding. I think you can make me a much better manager. Now I see why they call you the 1-minute manager. Thank you so much for all your help. Yeah, the meeting. All right, I'll talk to you later. Wish me luck. Bye. Well, I think I found the answer. 1-minute management. Have you heard about it?
Yes, I have. So tell me, what have you learned and how are you going to solve your problems?
Let's see. A 1-minute manager focuses on results and people. Tough on performance, not tough on the person. 3 actions. 1-minute goal setting in behavioral terms. 1-minute praising. Catch the person doing something right and tell them about it. And 1-minute reprimand. Reprimand, but with a caring attitude. Tough on performance, not tough on the person. Can't believe my answer was right here all along. I'm so glad I learned this management lesson.
Melissa, sounds like you have some answers here. I think you can be an excellent manager. You have desire, you learned a lot. I like that. Good job.
That is an excellent example of a 1-minute praising. I like that. You know, there may even be some stuff in here that can help you.
Thanks.
Hey, Colby! You want to go out for some pizza?
Yeah, how was your day?
My day was great. In fact, my whole week was really great. You know what? I've been thinking about something. Have a surprise for you.
Okay.
Look in the back seat.
Okay. Oh, yay, it's done. Is he the right
Hi, I'm Ken Blanchard. This is the home of the Blanchard Companies. What I'd like to do is share with you some additional ideas about 1-minute management. Let's take the first secret, 1-minute goal setting. Why is it the first secret? Because all good performance starts with clear goals. If people don't know where they're going, how are they possibly going to get there? So goal setting starts good performance because it gives people directions. One of my favorite sayings is, a river without banks is a large puddle. What permits a river to flow? It has banks, which give it directions. Goals, in many ways, are the banks for people because it will give them the direction they need to determine how they're going to spend their time. Now, how many goals do you want people to have? Don't want them to have a ton of goals because they'll be just as immobilized because they won't know where to focus and concentrate their energy. Pick the key goals, as we've taught here, the 20% that's going to give you the 80%. 3 or 4 of those at the most. and make sure that they are behavioral so that people can observe their progress. Now, what kind of goals do you want people to have? We always say they have to have SMART goals. It's just an acronym that permits us to have a checklist to make sure the goal is really a well-set goal. S stands for specific and measurable. You want to remember, if you can't measure something, you can't manage it. So it's got to be in behavioral terms. M stands for motivational. Are people excited about working on that goals? If they aren't, they're never going to accomplish it. A stands for attainable. You want to push your people in their goals, but don't set up a goal that they know that there's no way that they can accomplish it. It's got to be attainable if they make good effort. R stands for relevant. What does that mean? It means you want to pick the key goals. Remember the 80-20 goal setting rule. Set goals in the 20% of people's performance areas that are going to give them the biggest impact, give you the 80%. And then finally, T stands for trackable. What does that mean? That you can observe the accomplishment of that goal over time. Why do you want to do that? So you can observe progress, so you know whether you need to praise people for their progress, redirect them if they're off of their performance, or even reprimand them if necessary. So goal setting sets up the second two secrets of the 1-minute manager, but it starts the whole game. So remember, start your good management with clear goals. Second secret of 1-minute management is 1-minute praising. Of all the things I've taught over the years, I think this is the most important. If somebody said, Ken, you can't teach what you've been teaching in the past except for one thing, what would you hold on to? I would hold on to 1-minute praising. Because I think the key to developing people, the key to all relationships, is to catch them doing something right. I ask people all the time in organizations, how do you know whether you're doing a good job? The number one response I get is, I haven't been chewed out lately. Nobody's yelled at me. No news is good news. And most people never know how well they're doing until they make a mistake. And yet the number one motivator of people is feedback on results. In fact, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And the one feedback that is so seldom given people is positive feedback, catching them doing something right. And I want to tell you, once you're clear on goals and people know what they're being asked to do, start wandering around, even make a schedule of wandering around, and see if you can accent the positive. See if you can catch them doing something right. And remember, in the beginning when they're just learning, don't wait for exactly right behavior until you praise them. Praise progress. Catch them doing things approximately right, because that praising of progress will continue to move them along so that eventually they're really good performers in that goal area. And that's what you want. Accent the positive. It works in every kind of relationship. Why don't marriages work better? Well, what happens is initially, people say love is blind. What does that mean? All you see is the positive. Everything is great. Nothing's wrong. And then all of a sudden you live with the person and you start saying, what's that? I mean, what are they doing? You've got to be kidding me. So suddenly, what was positive in the beginning now turns around to be negative, and you start catching people doing things wrong as your main mode of operation. And that kills relationships. So what you want to do is you want to keep your people enthusiastic. You want to keep them excited about their work. And the way they get excited is as they progress, as they work, if they know their environment where they're going to get caught doing things right. Accent the positive with people. Give them a 1-minute praising. It'll make a real difference. What do you do if somebody's not performing well or not even making any progress? That's where the 1-minute reprimand comes into play. You actually have two choices when people aren't performing well. The first one is redirection. That's saved for when somebody is learning how to do something. Don't be negative or reprimand a learner. Otherwise, you're able to immobilize them. We had a funny experience when we were working on the 1 Minute Manager. A friend of mine called and said, Ken, we want to talk to you about how we should house train our new little puppy. And I said, what do you got in mind? They said, if the dog drops a load in the rug, we're going to grab him, shove his nose in it, pound him in the tail with a newspaper, and then they had a little window in the kitchen. They're going to throw this dog out the window into the backyard because that's where he's supposed to do it. They said, how do you think that'll work? I said, I can't wait, because I knew within 3 days the dog would drop a load on the rug and jump out the window. The dog didn't know what to do, but he knew he better clear the area because he was going to get punished. You don't want to punish learners. You go back to goal setting, reset the goal, and then see if they can start to make some progress. Now, the reprimand is very appropriate, though, when somebody is clear on the goal and they start to work on it, and they aren't performing well, but they know better. In other words, they've done this well before. That's an attitude problem, not an ability problem. But remember, with the reprimand, you're very immediate with them and what they did wrong, very specific. You didn't get your report in on time on Friday, and you tell them how you feel. It really made me upset. I got everybody else's report and kind of goofed up my analysis. But the last part of the reprimand is so key, reaffirmation. At the end of a reprimand, you reaffirm them as a person. You reaffirm their skills. Because remember, people are okay. It's just their behavior is a problem sometimes. And what you want to do is get rid of the poor behavior but keep the person. Reprimands are tough on behavior but not tough on people. Well, that's it. Those are the 3 secrets of the 1 Minute Manager. 1 minute goal setting, being really clear with people on what they're being asked to do and what good behavior looks like. 1 minute praising, wandering around and seeing if you can catch them doing something right. And then the 1 minute reprimand for when people know better and they're not performing, you get them back on track. But remember, you always just focus on behavior, but reinforce them as a person. People are beautiful. It's their behavior that's a problem sometimes. So use these 3 secrets. They're going to be helpful for you and your people. Good luck.